The first item on the agenda then is to receive comments from Mayor Amix and the City Commission, and this has in relationship to filling the vacant City Commission position. I'll open it up to comments.
I'll be happy to start. No one else wants to take the lead. Yeah, this has been something that's been weighing on my mind for quite a bit of time. I'm sure I'm not telling you all anything either. I'm sure that I ran into Mayor Amix this morning in downtown Lawrence. He asked me how I was sleeping. I said, yeah, just as good as I've been sleeping for the last week, right? One of the things I've been trying to consider, I think Leslie, it was you who had asked the question in the forum about what has the election in April taught us. I believe that was your question. And so one of the things that I've been considering with this appointment is your question, actually. Oh. What has the election in April taught us? Mm-hmm. And I think what I took from that election were two things. I took that in speaking with individuals, there was a massive lack of transparency, as they saw, and that there were a lot of mistakes made with process. Okay, so I take those two ideas and I apply it to what we're trying to do tonight. How do we achieve transparency? How do we achieve process? Well, I hope that the transparency was achieved through the process that we utilized. We created a committee of 12. Each of us hand-selected 3 individuals for that committee, so I feel like it was truly a team effort on the behalf of the commission to put this group together of 12 members of our community who we feel are influential, who we feel brought to the table a set of ideas, all of these things. Okay, so I think the transparency was achieved. So then the question becomes, how do we fill that seat in a way that demonstrates good process? And that's been what's kept me awake the last couple nights, is thinking about what the answer is to that question. And here's what I come back to, and I certainly welcome anything the 3 of you have to say, and I certainly respect all 3 of your opinions. To me, the process is this. When we put that group of 12 together, they had 14 applicants. Those 14 applicants submitted resumes based solely on the language on the paper. That committee of 12 cut those 14 down to 12. In doing so, they also ranked them. At that point, first was Scott, and second was Lisa. We then brought them back, and we had a forum right here on the floor of the City Hall. At that forum, our committee of 12, which we all hand-selected, cut it from 12 to 6. At that time, they also individually ranked them. At that time, Scott was ranked first, and Lisa was ranked second. When I look at the 2 candidates that we have before us tonight, it would be an honor to serve with either one of them. I think they're both incredible candidates. Last week, when I had the chance to vote for 3 candidates, I put both Lisa and Scott on my ballot. I think both of them would be incredible. But when we look at what the election in April taught us, the importance of process, to me what that says is people desire the community to make this choice. I'm sure you've received the same emails and phone calls that I have, that there's a great deal of anger in the community that a special election wasn't held. You know, and we had heard from our city attorney as to why that was. To me, it comes down to this. I think we selected that committee. I think the committee was made up of truly intelligent people. I think all 3 of you did a great job of picking your committee members. And tonight, I would recommend that we follow their recommendation both times. Both times they ranked it Scott Morgan 1, Lisa Larsen 2. I would recommend tonight, in the honor of process, that we do the same thing.
Okay. Thank you. Did you have a comment?
Sure, I'll go. Well, it's funny because the vacancy committee that we had that did a great job, I had a little bit of a different takeaway from them. And that was that we had the 4 of us selected 3 people each. And what I found interesting when I tallied up all of the votes and who voted for which when they named their top candidates is that each camp, I guess you might call them camp, like I had my camp of appointees, you had yours, that each of our camps, all of them actually selected Lisa Larsen, at least one of them did. And then when we had our ballot, of course, last week, what I also found interesting was that out of these 4 commissioners, all of us had Lisa Larsen. on our ballot. And not only that, but Scott Morgan, who's a great guy, he wasn't first on any of our lists, but Lisa Larsen was first on 2 of our ballots. So to me, I had a little bit different of a takeaway, so that's why I support Lisa Larsen, is to me that showed a little more solid consensus out of all of the different camps that we had, as well as the 4 of us.
Okay. Stuart?
I would like to say thank you to all the candidates that stepped forward. It's a difficult decision to make, and it's a difficult process to go through. I'd like to thank Joe Harkins and the committee for the work that they did. Ultimately, however, this is our responsibility to make this decision. And it's been tough. Scott has an incredible background. He's a great guy. He has experience, and he would do this job well. To me, the question really is, what do we need to be complete? And I believe that Lisa will make us more complete. With her experience as a scientist and her analytical processes and her clear talk have convinced me to support Lisa Larsen.
Okay. You know, I didn't think that I would have such an interesting time when you all decided to name me mayor for the additional $19.23 a week that I make. You know, this decision, you know, I go back and I want to thank all the members of the committee that came forward and put in quite a bit of time. And Joe, thank you again for the work that you did in doing this. I think one of the things that this committee did is they sent us 6 very qualified people to consider. They did their homework and they did it right, and they sent us 6 people that are very good. And last week, last Thursday night, we spent time and we were able to reduce the number from 6 to 2. Matthew, I appreciate the work that you've done and you know, the way that you've looked at this, and the other commissioners also. The ballots, you know, I will say one thing that as I looked at this is that Lisa was on all 4 of our ballots, and I think that happened. I have, in probably the last 3 nights, I could have called any one of you in the middle of the night and probably had conversations with you because I have been awake. This is tough. I mean, this is tough. This is, we're talking about people who have stepped forward and want to serve along with us to do good things for the city of Lawrence, to do things right, to be able to make decisions for our community. And the big job that we have is we get to pick one. Now, this is the second time in my career that I've had the opportunity to do this. Once in 1983, and here we are in 2015. You know, it's no easier today than what it was so many years ago. But the truth of the matter is that we're not talking about a zoning issue. We're not talking about, you know, the items that come forward, you know, many times that we have to deal with. We're talking about people that have stepped forward and want to do the job. Now, I know that in this particular case, you know, we're getting ready to vote here in a minute. And this is still, you know, I am still making up my mind. But, you know, it's a tough decision because the candidates that we have are so good. They are so good. You know, we have big decisions to make. We have big decisions to make in that we're going to hire a new city manager. We have big decisions to make. We have a number of big zoning issues that are going to come forward. We have any number of things going on. And on top of everything else, we have a budget process that will begin probably right after the first of the year as we start this all again. You know, and just tell you a little bit about, this entire situation, what's made it really tough, is I think that our community looks to us to make decisions. And I think one of the things that's happened that's been hard for me is that, I know that because of the split that we have in our commission, I can send this item to the city attorney for final decision. I have that kind of deal. But I believe that I was appointed by you all, I was elected by the folks in this community to make decisions on their behalf. And I think that my job is to make those decisions. Again, I have taken into consideration, and I bet I have changed my votes multiple times in the last 48 hours especially. But I think that, and Matt, it goes back to everything that you've said. It has. But in the end, the one thing that I think is so important in all of this is that the way I see my responsibility in being able to make a decision on behalf of this community. And Tony, I know that you would make a great decision, or, I'm not going to ask what it is, but I do believe that in fairness, we are going to be part of a body that we will work together. That will be our commitment to make sure that we work together. That being all said, I think that based on that and not wanting to ask the city attorney to step forward and make the decision for us, I believe it is our responsibility. I believe Lisa Larsen should fill the vacant city commission position. Okay.
Did we do public comment?
Okay. Any comment?
Thank you.
Okay. So, as we... So that you know, in a minute, once a vote happens, you'll be given the opportunity to give a speech. So if you can...
No, I just told Scott I wanted to go home with him right now, actually.
That what?
I just told Scott I wanted to go home with him right now.
Okay. But if you'd like to make a comment, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I want to thank all my friends and family for being on this little trip with me the last month and a half. It's been quite a wild ride. I also want to thank the commission as well as the staff for being so professional about this. And not least is also the committee that you folks put together. They did a wonderful job of going through that process, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Any other questions or comments?
I was wondering if we needed to ask both of them if they still wanted to do it.
Yeah, I was
Well, here again, we appreciate you stepping forward and look forward to working with you. Scott, we appreciate you stepping forward and the work and everything that you've done and wanting to become a member of this body. So we're very fortunate to have people willing to do the job. So anyway, thank you. We'll be to you in just a second. Frank, did you have a comment?
My name is Frank from East Lawrence. I wanted to comment on what Commissioner Herbert was saying about the people's choice as he saw it from the previous two events in which you had Scott and Lisa first and second. But this is a very unusual situation, as we understand, thanks to Jeremy Farmer. And so what we have here before us is actually the elected officials who, in their experience and knowledge, in the end, make the final decision. So I just want to say that when the six were here last time, I was surprised. I didn't know much about Lisa, but her response to me was outstanding. I told her afterwards, I said I was really impressed with her responses, and I think you guys were too. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. Any other comments?
Yeah, can I make a
Please,
comment to that?
yeah, please.
I just want to be very, I had a chance to speak to Lisa after the the forum, and I made the same comment to her, Frank, that you just made. When I walked into the forum, it's probably my own ignorance, but she wasn't even on my radar, and I was absolutely blown away by her comments. And very quickly, she moved onto my ballot for just the same reason you mentioned. So I appreciate that, Frank.
Other comment? Yes, sir.
I'm actually not going to sign in just because I'm grumpy. No. I'm Scott Morgan. I live in Lawrence. I just wanted to thank you all for the consideration and the thought you put into this. I wish you all and Lisa certainly all the best. I think the community is really ready for you to get back to work, and I'm sure you are very excited about it. And I got to say, it's with mixed emotions, but it's not the worst thing that's ever happened to me. So, thank you very much.
Well, Scott. Well, again,
I wanted to say something.
hey, Scott, don't run off. You have something.
Well, I was just going to tell you, I hope you run again. maybe come back. I'm really.
Well, you guys are having too much fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks, Scott. Okay. The next item on the agenda then is to conduct the election of successor to the vacant city commission position, and this is pursuant to section 1-201 of the city code. Tony, you have any comment about the code or the language?
No, but in order to make it effective, the majority.
Excuse me. I can't hear. Okay. Just a simple majority? Okay.
Do we do a nomination?
Okay, at this time, I will open the floor up to nominations.
Oh, if that's all right. I would like to nominate Lisa Larsen to fill the vacancy that we have here at City Commission.
Okay? And did we decide yesterday we do or do not have to have seconds to nominations? We do not?
You do not have to.
Okay. Are there any other names that we wish to place into nomination for the vacant city commission position?
Well, my friend's baby was here earlier.
Hearing none, I will close the nominations. We have entered the name of Lisa Larsen to fill the vacant city commission position. Are there any other comments, questions?
I'm looking forward to being back to 5.
Me too. Okay. Then I would let's see. No, I wouldn't. We've already entertained that motion. Do we have to do a motion now? Or just?
Motion for the election of the individuals to fill the vacancy.
Okay. So the name of Lisa Larsen has been entered. So I will call for the votes. So all in favor of naming Lisa Larsen as to fill the vacant city commission position, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 4-0. Congratulations, you will be sworn in. Just stay. Brandon, if you want to do the swearing in right now, please come forward. Congratulations.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
And Brandon here is going to administer the oath of office.
What do I do? Just stand?
I don't know.
Let him direct. Yeah, wherever you'd like to do it. Make sure you get your picture right.
Please
So,
raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
Lisa Larsen.
Do solemnly and sincerely declare and affirm
Do solemnly and sincerely declare
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and faithfully discharge the duties of the City Commissioner
and faithfully discharge the duties of City Commissioner
for the City of Lawrence, Kansas
for the City of Lawrence, Kansas,
during the term for which I was elected.
during the term of which I was elected.
Congratulations.
I have my little nest over here, Lisa.
Okay. This is the best part of the night.
We're keeper of the Kleenex.
Lisa, do you have any additional comments you'd like to make at this time?
Let's get to work.
Good idea. But before we do that, we're going to recess for 20 minutes.
Okay, I didn't use that actually.
Thank you.
Do we,
Welcome, and Lisa, I want a special welcome aboard from all the members of the commission.
Thank you.
Our commission is now complete. We look forward to your participation and knowledge that you'll bring to the commission. And we're in for, a good ride. Okay? Thank you all. So, we're going to recess for 20 minutes.
I was looking at the wrong.